welcome to Culture on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober. Thanks for joining me. Today on our program, we'll hear of an upcoming film about disabled Army veterans. We'll take a look at fading industrial towns being revitalized by culture. And we'll hear some world music news. Still a Fighter is a documentary film about disabled Israeli army veterans, their families, and their ongoing struggle during rehabilitation. The film is finishing up a crowdfunding campaign, and gladly it already reached its initial goal of 75,000 shekels. With me in the studio are the director of the film, Kinneret Chai Gilor, and Amir Meir, a veteran who is featured in the film. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kinneret, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about the film and what prompted you to take it on.
Okay, so Still a Fighter, it's a documentary. It tells the story of disabled IDF veterans dealing and coping with the everyday struggle. They once fought in a war in order to defend us and our country, and today they are still fighting in order to live as much as they can a normal life. The stories are told from a child's point of view. She meets for the first time the disabled people. At first she is afraid of them because no one prepared her for people without hands or wheels instead of legs. But as time passes by, she gets more and more curious, and they become actually part of her world. So,
and you, in this image that you're painting for us, I would guess that you are the child.
Yes, I am the child. My father was injured at 6 Days War. I remember myself come with him to Bet Halochem, which is a rehabilitation center. And I want to take the audience, the viewers with me, to experience a similar journey that I've been experienced. I want them to see through disabilities those people. They are very warm, loving, and hopeful human beings. So this is my purpose.
And there's one right here sitting next to you, Amir.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
Tell us a little bit about your story.
My story begins at 1992. I was badly injured in my head during a convoy that drove to Lebanon after Sabbath in our houses, and we got through a bomb that killed 5 of my friends and injured us 5 others. I was one of the badly injured, and they thought at the beginning that I was dead. At the beginning, the first helicopter that came to take the wounded took them, and they thought at first that I was dead, so they didn't.
You were left for dead, quite literally.
I left at the field, and the other helicopter that came to take the dead, they looked at the bodies, and they thought that maybe they can save someone. And a doctor done an heroic
deed,
and he cut my throat and opened an airway that really saved my life.
Yeah.
And after nearly 10 days at a coma, I waked up at Rambam Hospital. And
since then really, you've been rehabilitated.
Yeah.
And this is okay. What do you want to tell in the film?
I want to tell the society and the Israel people that live in this country that a handicap is for life, and we are coping with things in our daily life, not only the time that we were in the hospital, but everyday life with families and at work, and suddenly that I had to change my work after 16 years of being in an occupation. I couldn't
go on.
Go on, and I changed my whole life again.
Yeah.
And nobody is preparing me for this kind of life and all this struggle. Only our families and our strength to keep on going.
There's a surprising aspect here, because Israel has known its fair share of wars and pretty technologically advanced, yet this issue of treating our veterans, not our strongest suit.
I think it's mostly also depends in our society, because I think most of us are very empathized with those who wounded in a war, like when we hear it in the news. But 2 days after, we forget about them.
Short memory.
Yeah, because we don't deal
Replaced
with
by something else, by the next thing.
There is another item.
Always is.
So we want to show them, I think, in the film that this struggle is like it's endless struggle, and these people, their life changed upside down in one brief moment.
Well, we're not going to solve this issue here, unfortunately, but we can tell people about their ability to contribute to the film. And the film, I'm sure, will do much more. Kineret and Amir, thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, we just want to invite people to Google us, and to
Google,
support.
Still a fighter, Head Start.
Yes,
thanks.
and take a part. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, old mining towns have become synonymous with economic decline, but in the Czech Republic, Belgium, and even in France, these former industrial sites are coming back to life thanks to cultural activities, museums, concert festivals. David Gombin takes us on a guided tour.
5-6 years ago, this area was changing from an industrial zone into a cultural site. Immediately after, it became possible to organize a musical festival here, because this is a marvelous place with a lot of panoramas, and is also a huge area which enables us to bring bands and much more viewers.
Welcome to Vitkovice, the Czech Republic. As the center of the Soviet mining industry, mostly steel was mined and shaped here until the 1990s, when the site had to be closed. Industrial wilderness as the cultural background is a blooming and attractive concept. North Pas de Calais, Wallonia, or even Ruhr, what if culture were to save some of the grayest and most impoverished areas in Europe? For example, Mons, in the center of the Belgian Wallonia. Not long ago, this calm city wasn't really known for its intensive cultural life. This has definitely changed, as it was chosen by the European Union to become this year's cultural capital. Now the city is enjoying a boost in its economy.
I think that in 2015 and after 2015, we won't experience culture the same way. We won't live together the same way. We will share in a better way. We will share more. Something great is coming, and there will be no way back.
With a break-in record attendance estimated to have been around 2 million visitors and 300 cultural events, channeling this enthusiasm has already been planned in order to secure the durability of the already nicknamed Creative Valley. This initiative should benefit the whole area. The city of Lens can be found about 100 kilometers from here on the French side of the border. Until a few years ago, the city was mostly known for its football club and its supporters, the Blood and Gold. Yet this new attraction is now bigger than the stadium. Even the Louvre Museum has decided to open its new annex in this beautiful building, a true success that has already attracted about 1 million visitors since its opening.
Less than knowing the number, 900,000, what really matters to me is knowing the composition of the panel of visitors. The fact that we welcome more than 100,000 visitors for the mining basin and more than 100,000 Belgian visitors show that we have succeeded to attract a local public as well. There's also a real interest coming from the international and Euro-regional public.
The museum is viewed as an effort to bring the mining basin out of its post-industrial fatigue.
These days, we mostly welcome tourists, visitors coming for the day only. The end game is to have them stay longer, at least for a night or two.
Sometimes even the mine is no longer just a background. It is at the center of the tour. We are here in Carmaux, about 20 kilometers north of Albi. Glasswork, coal, and charcoal. This little town has known a glorious and also cynical past. In 1892, a huge strike was started by one of the most emblematic men of his time, Jean Jaurès.
Cette grève de 1895 a été le terrain d'application des idées socialistes.
The 1895 strike was used by Jean Jaurès to defend the socialist ideology of his time, as he was facing a boss who was himself defending the capitalist ideology. At the center of this ideology, the idea that the boss is the only master in his factory and that he is the only one to set the rules.
Qui consistait à penser que le patron était seul maître dans son usine.
But if the mines have been closed for a while now, the cultural heritage of the city is showcased in this museum. A museum that helps tell the story of this area's glorious past. After being underappreciated for a long time, the mining sites are finally coming back to life, with the same goal as always, to bring vitality and prosperity.
In a moment, we'll get up to date with world music news. But first, here's our cultural recommendation for today.
Hokusai, the Japanese artist best known for his work in the 19th century, had his work exhibited in 1892 at the Boston Museum of Fine Arts, almost 3 decades after his passing. Today, over 120 years later, it is the same picture which is bringing viewers from different ages and backgrounds together at the museum. Alongside with the famous Great Wave of Kanagawa, also being presented is a set of the 36 views of Mount Fuji. This display gives a complete overview of 60 years of Hokusai's career, providing an in-depth understanding of the star of Japanese painting. Also, as part of the exhibition, the Boston MFA expands and offers a range of exhibitions throughout the empire, centered around the rising sun. It was perfect timing for the summer.
Daniel Campos is joining me now in the studio. Hey, Daniel.
Hello, Dad. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully. How are things in, let's say, Gambia?
In Gambia? Not so good. We can say it's a dictatorship since 1994. Yahya Jammeh is the name of the president. Well, usually when you hear about Gambia, you're talking about a lot of gay rights, which are very non-existent over there, we can say. But today we're going to talk about music and music censorship. Killa Ace is a victim of censorship this time. He just fled the country because of a song he wrote and he composed, and obviously it was shared virally on SoundCloud. But we're going to watch a different video of his on YouTube.
Alhamdulillah, my brother, thank God we around. Come on, you know the dilly, you know how it goes down. It's the same old Gambia, shout out to every town. Land of the smiling coast where people frown deep down.
Okay, now, can you tell us about the freedom of speech in your country?
Yes, sir, that question is interesting, which has a lot of points.
Gambian Kingdom of Yaya, he says. Okay, he's not a fan?
Not a fan at all, and he's very brave. He's really willing to risk his life. You can say a lot of opposition opposition members have disappeared in this country, tortured, obviously murdered. So Killa Ace, what's funny is that all of this became viral on SoundCloud, not on YouTube, so which is very interesting as a platform when we talk about Africa.
Way to go, SoundCloud.
West Africa.
Okay, where are we going now?
Well, it's been 42 years since Hugo Jara was murdered, one of the most famous folk singers in the history of South America. He was from Chile. During the Pinochet regime, he was killed, and they're being brought to justice. Some of the generals involved in the torture. They even played Russian roulette with him before, shooting him 40 times.
Wow.
I mean, let's have a listen.
Voy a hacerle un cigarrito, ¿acaso tengo tabaco?
We're almost out of time, but give us the gist of it, Daniel.
I think it's great. I mean, look, he's a hero of all South America, you know? It's time for again, those people to...
For him to get the respect he deserves. All right, you're doing your part and we're doing ours. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thank you at home for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow with another show, so please join us again.